welcome to another edition of NOLA Wargaming. I am Big Fat, and I have another battle report for you. Well, this one wasn't done in the safety of my own home. This one, Sticky Fingers, Mrs. Sticky Fingers, Mrs. Big Fat, and Sticky Finger Jr. 1 through 3 all decided to take a cruise out through the Bahamas and back. And so while we were on our cruise, Sticky Fingers and I decided to get a game in, or actually a couple of games in. And late night, when nobody was in the cafe, we threw a couple of tables together, put some miniatures down, and played a couple of games. So here is the first of 2 games that we played. So here is my army. Pretty standard as it was. It's the first time I've packed up this army in a very long time, so I had to be very careful with everything. But I brought the Yetis back in the list, and you know, it's pretty standard. Fraglings, King Eater. Look at that, I took a BSB. I really needed to do this before. Finally did it. The other side of the house, yep, there's Demora. I've been going with the tribes. I like the tribes a lot, so that's what we're going to stick with. I've got more Fraggles, 2 Ken Eaters, some Mercenaries, and there's Big Fat back in the list again. I really wanted to use that -3 initiative, or -3 agility, sorry. And I wanted to team them up with the Mercenaries to make sure that they could hit, you know, very hard and guaranteed to strike first. They've got halberds and what was it? Devastating Charge and plate mail. So they're pretty hard hitting, and I'm hoping for a good show from them this time. On the other side of the house, I didn't know what Sticky Fingers was going to bring. He's got a very extensive elf army, so he decided he was going to go with his Warriors of the Dark Gods, and he went with a lot of armor. As you can see, he's got the Knights, Giant, he's got that pesky Sorcerer who can fly around everywhere. He's got that block of infantry right there, which is just a hurdy block, and I don't have anything that can really take it out one-on-one. So I'm going to have to surround it if I want to get rid of it, or just run away as fast as I can. On the other side, he's got these Chosen Chariots. They're each marked with, honestly, I can't remember. I think, oh, Wrath. It's marked with Wrath. So he's got that +1 to hit. But, man, those things hit. And then he's got this little block of Barbarians Horsemen who I constantly underestimated. They're super annoying. So, yeah, that's a stand of trees. And now it's not. Sticky Fingers had something that turned it into ruins, I think. And so we marked things with the T, and then it wasn't anymore. Well, I mean, we had to find terrain somehow, so this is how we found terrain. All right, so this is the magic that Sticky Fingers brought. I didn't bring any magic because I actually had a shaman in my list, but when I had to parse it down to 4,000 points because we were, you know, I didn't want to bring 2 bags onto this cruise to go through customs and everything. And we each parsed down from 5,000 to 4,000. So my shamans got dropped as a result. But he still went with a strong magic presence. So he's got that flying wizard who's going to fly around, casting Whispers of the Veil, Ancestral Aid. And on the other hand, he's got that wizard on foot who's just going to, you know, be in that unit and cast stuff. But the real fun, yeah, that. I have to admit, I did not know about Hellfire. Hellfire is a vicious, vicious spell, and he's got it from that banner, and he's got it on both these 2 units. And that 2d6 hits or 2d3 hits, depending on whether he goes high or low. At strength 6, it may not do any damage. You know, it's AP 0, but that doesn't matter to me because my armor is not. Well, it's not there. I don't have a lot of armor in my troops, and my units are very small. So one hit with something like this, and it really devastates units. Turn 1. Yes, this is on the cruise. This is where we got to go watch movies whenever we wanted to, or plays, or dances, or I guess dances, comedy routines, stuff like that. It was fancy looking. Yes, it was. All right, so here's turn 1. Sticky Fingers rightly assumed that he didn't have to really come flying at me, that I would have to come at him because he could always match me to death, and I don't really have any shooting other than Big Fat. That doesn't really count as shooting. So he kind of inched up here, and he kind of just inched up over here. I was kind of surprised. He could have declared a charge with either the Marauders or the Knights, or I guess even the Chariot. I wasn't that far back because the tables aren't exactly 4 feet, so I think they were maybe 3.5 feet, something like that. So we were a bit closer than we were normally, and the Yetis had vanguarded pretty far forward. But he's pretty conservative. He feels like that Strength 5 from the Yetis head on to any of these units isn't going to do very much. And, well, I'm going to test that out next turn. So here is the first of the magic phase, and I'm always underestimating this phase, unfortunately. And yeah, I had to let the Hellfire go because I wanted to stop the -1 resistance, which I knew was coming. I hate that spell so much. And I figured, oh, well, maybe it won't be so bad. Well, 2 dead Yetis later, and it was just as bad as I thought it could be. That was not good. Now my unit of Yetis is much less combat effective. I was going to try to either flank that Knights or maybe wear him down a little bit with the Yetis or something, but now I can't even do that. Now they've got to just run off the sides and maybe someday hit a flank or something. And here's the spell I wanted to stop, which was the -1 resistance. And I like triple wonded or something like that. I rolled really low. Even with the dice, I didn't have a huge dice advantage because of the veil tokens, but yeah, I just rolled really badly and it went off anyway. So here's my turn. I had my choice between these 3 units. I figured the Barbarian Horsemen were the easiest one to kill. I thought there was just a Sorceress in it because I wasn't listening. There is a Chieftain in there as well, but yeah, I wasn't listening. So that was bad. I mean, I figured squishy, resistance 3, very little armor. It's a, light troops unit, so I didn't think too much of it, but we'll see. Over here, yep, I'm going to send those Mercenaries right into that unit of Knights right there. I have no fear on this end. The Mercenaries are base strength 5, +1 for the Halberd, and then +1 for the charge, that devastating charge bonus. So strength 7 against those things. And then I can always move Big Fat up close to make sure they get... actually, I don't even need to do that because those guys have great weapons over there. So the Mercenaries are going to strike first no matter what. So they're just going to devastate that unit of Knights. The Yetis just get in, no problems. And the Mercenaries don't. Because why? That flank is horribly exposed to the Marauding Giant. Or really, I guess from this picture, I don't think so. Probably not the Warriors over there. But yeah, I wasn't as certain that they would hold up if they didn't get the charge. So, I mean, the Knights could still charge in, but the real threat here is that Giant on the flank. So this is what I did to try to counteract that. I put Big Fat up there just to make sure. I don't think I knew that they had great weapons at this point, which is why I put Big Fat up there. I mean, it wouldn't make any difference. They great weapons, agility 0, it doesn't matter. But the Fraggles had to go all the way up just to make sure that the Giant couldn't get in the flank there. Oh yeah, and you can see them trying to chaff that unit of Warriors who I don't want to face one-on-one. Just trying to mix things up a little bit over there. And over here, doing the same thing. I don't want those Knights. I want them to move a little bit closer so that I can try to countercharge them. But I probably could have held off on doing that. Maybe I was worried about them getting into the front of that unit of tribes. I mean, I don't have much to get rid of those Knights because I don't have a lot of high strength. Demora could do it, but the tribes are just strength 4, and the Khan that I've got in there, he's got Spine Splinter, so he's got poison, and he's got an additional hand weapon, so he just does a lot of poison attacks. I mean, I can do some damage, but they're just going to save it. So that's the problem there. Over here, I kill 4 of them. He just destroys my Yetis. I've got 1 wound left in that one Yeti. I did not expect that. I thought I was going to do more damage. I didn't roll particularly well, but the resistance -1. I mean, that just hurt. I knew it was going to hurt. I just didn't know how bad. And I took off running. I got away only by an inch. And, you know, this isn't going to matter. He's just going to drive these guys off the table. Ah, and there's Mrs. Big Fat. I just want to warn all of you that are planning on starting their own YouTube channels with their own names. Do not name yourself Big Fat, because then, yes, you'll have to call your wife Mrs. Big Fat, and she might take offense to it. This is when we were rock climbing on the back of the ship. Anyway, back to the game. So, yeah, he's going to charge the Yeti. And there's where the Yeti goes. I'm not that far away. He's going to catch me. Maybe panic the Fraggles, but I do have the BSB not too far away. I might even have the General within range, but they're not. I'm not too worried right here. Over here, he's going to send that chariot to the front of the tribes. I am a little worried because those chosen chariots can do a lot of damage. And even though I feel like I can hold because I've got a couple of ranks, I'm not sure if I'll be able to kill the damn thing. And I don't like taking failed break test after failed break test after failed break test. And over here, he actually surprised me with this one, and he sent the giant into the Ken Eater instead of the unit. I feel like he could have done more damage faster with the unit. I mean, the giant's got 5 attacks. I think he's got a club, so it's strength. It's strength 6 against my resistance of 5. I do have a fortitude save, but he's hitting on 4s, I think, whereas the unit is going to hit on 3s. And I don't remember. I know he had a spiky shield, but I can't remember whether he had halberds too. It was either halberds or great weapons. He had another set of equipment as well that I feel like he could have torn into that Ken Eater with the unit much faster than he can from the giant. I mean, 5 attacks with the giant, 2 to 3 should hit, and probably 2 to 1 would wound. I might save it. So I mean, taking 2 wounds a turn. I mean, that's a couple of turns to get rid of the Ken Eater with giant. Over here, there goes the Yeti, and as you can see, the Fraggles are still there. And over here, that chosen chariot gets right into my unit. So yeah, that's going to be there. And the giant right into the Ken Eater. And then he decides to just move the knights away rather than get near the man eaters. I mean, not man eaters, mercenaries. I wanted that matchup right there, and he clearly did not. And now it's going to be tough for me to chase down those knights because I'll have to just turn my whole army. But I have to worry about those warriors in the center of the table. So I'm going to have to let them go and just try to chaff them up with units and just leave them back there for the time being. So over here, you can see this is just the knights down here. I mean the barbarians down here, just reforming. He did not charge the dog up here, which was a mistake. He should have done that. I mean, he could have cleared them out, but it just means he's going to have to do it again in another turn. So I'm not sure what he was doing. He was being really conservative early on, and I'll point out where it's going to get, where I really think it's going to bite him in this game. So here's our next magic phase. So now he kills the dog. Yeah, he moved into the magic phase to kill the dog. He just used the Hellfire when he could have just charged it. I think he was worried that I was going to flee, and then he'd have to chase after the dog, or charge something else that he didn't want to charge. When we talked after this game, he was really worried about the Fraglings because he didn't want to get stuck in them because they had ranks. He was afraid that if he got stuck in the unit, he wouldn't be able to kill enough of them, and he would be, surrounded over there. And that was magic. I mean, I stopped the other stuff. Right now, his main units, like I said, were facing in the wrong directions. So the chosen chariot, it looks like it did 3 wounds to me. I thought it did another wound, but it looks like just 3, and I did a couple of back to it. So with a couple of ranks and a couple standards, it runs away, and it gets away. And this is going to be a theme with its stupid chosen chariot. Over here, the giant, he He does a couple of wounds, that poor Cane Eater. I mean, that thing's just, it's just sticking around, you know, that's what they do. I mean, I wanted him to hold up that unit, so it's holding up that unit back there. Over here, because I got that boost of speed, I can run at that pesky sorcerer, which is great. If he flees, he's going to run right off the table. If he stays, well, I feel like I can kill it in close combat. And over here, I decide that I'm going to take out this giant. Demora can just wreck him. It looks like he took a wound last turn. I probably just didn't put the die down last turn. Anyway, I get into it right here. He decided to stay rather than run off the table. And over here, I got into the giant. I don't know if I would have hit the flank, if I'm going to hit the flank when I kill this sorcerer. But I'll find out. Anyway, over here, this is just how the right side of the table looks. I just turn the Fraggles around to face the Barbarian Horseman over there. Keep in mind, I don't have a BSB or a general nearby, so when I lose combat, because it's not a matter of if I lose combat with Fraggles, it is when I lose combat. They won't have a BSB or a general nearby to give them a little talking to. And you can see the Cane Eater went up there, and it's just kind of sitting in front of those knights now. Over here, I threw a dog in front of the knights. Like I said, I'm just trying to keep them away from my units now, so that I can concentrate on that big block of warriors in the center of the table. Big Fat moved up into the woods, and the mercenaries just kind of skirted around the woods. Over here, yes, we got into a challenge, so it was just my BSB versus a sorcerer. I think I did a wound or two. I didn't do much, and he just saved it. And then he rolled double ones to stay. I don't think double ones are a thing in the 9th Age, but it doesn't matter because he needed a 4. I think it was. I just didn't do any damage, and he didn't do any damage back to me. And so I didn't beat him by enough. But he stuck around, so I'm stuck in this position, which is not great. Really not great. Over here, yeah, the giant just died. I mean, Demora, she's got Kagare's Maw. She just went to town and wrecked that poor stupid giant. I'm just reformed to face the warriors over here. What I'm hoping is going to happen is that he's going to charge the Cane Eater, kill the Cane Eater, overrun into the unit right there, and then I'm just going to slam into the flank with the mercenaries, Big Fat, and maybe even rear charge them with the Yetis. So that's what I'm hoping to do here. And there is the beautiful, that's Key West. Yeah, that's Key West. That's our cruise ship docked up in Key West on the last day. Man, it is gorgeous. Yeah. Over here, Barbarian Horseman. Just, yep, they can charge Fraggles. Come on, Fraggles, take out a couple of guys. Over here, this, I didn't see this. I really, really didn't see this. So he's going to charge that chariot straight into Demora's unit. And now, if he decides to charge those warriors into the Cane Eater, he will overrun into Demora's unit, and they will fight with the chosen chariot, and that is going to crush Demora's unit with the tribes. There's no way that she can take that out. He makes that charge, but as you can see, he didn't declare the warrior charge. I asked him after the game why he didn't do it, and he just said, I don't know. That was it. He was playing really conservatively. He could have made this charge. He could have taken this unit out, maybe panicked a couple things. This would have been the way to go. And he might have. He was really worried about the mercenaries and Big Fat, and he didn't want to be over forward. But you know, it's getting surrounded anyway. When you're getting surrounded, you've got to get the points that you can. Oh, and that stupid chariot charged. Rallied, not charged. So it's hanging back there again. And yeah, he didn't charge the Cane Eater. He could have done that and wiped it out. So I'm still just kind of stuck in front of him. Should have done that, but he didn't want to get stuck in there. which I understand, but it's still going to be there next turn. Over here, he didn't charge the dog. I'm not sure whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. He did just turn around to face all those units. If he had charged the dog, I was going to flee, which was going to be great. He expected me to stay, and he was going to kill it. But I was going to flee, and he would have ended up like all the way at the back end of the table after he caught the dog. And I mean, he probably would have flipped around, but he would have been, like 12 inches further down. So I don't know. I probably would have killed the dog. All right, so here's magic. You got a bunch of Veil tokens in this one. Yep, and he did the whichever spell it is that does 1 strength 10 hit for 3 guys in a unit. So that's just enough to kill off one of my guys, and he nicked that man-eater. Mercenary. Pretty good. I was beat. I wanted that unit to be whole. And over here, yeah, Fraggles got decimated. Yeah, decimated really bad. It looks like I did a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like I killed 1 guy. But they don't stay and they get run down because Fraggles. Over here, I finally killed that stupid sorcerer, which was great. Yeah, that was great. Felt good to finally do that one. And I just turned. That chariot does a bunch of damage to that unit. He wins combat, but I stick around. I do 4 wounds to him. I think that's all from Kagadai's Maul. And it's just Amora did all the damage. I don't think the tribes did anything. But yeah, I'm just stuck in this place, and that's not a good place to be. So it's my turn. He turned like this, and he gave me the flank for both the Gorger and the Fraggles. So, not Gorger, Kin-Eater. Oh, sorry. For the Kin-Eater and the Fraggles. I'm probably going to do about 1 wound a turn. It's a bunch of damage. You can't do much to me back, so I'll have ranks and flank and everything. Eventually, this unit of Knights is going to go. There's no way it can hold up to stuff like this. And there's what happens. Over here, I'm going to send the Mercenaries, the Kin-Eater, and Big Fat into this unit of Warriors. I feel pretty confident about it. I'm also sending... Oh, looks like I don't have another picture, but I'm also sending that unit of tribes into it. You can see the tribes and Big Fat made it, but the Mercenaries do not. They decide, I don't feel like going into combat today. I'm just going to hang out here and look pretty. I really wanted these guys to be an important part of my game plan, and I am letting them down. Oh, maybe they let me down here, but and they failed 2 charges this game. That's pretty bad. Over here, yep, those 2 Yetis are going to charge that stupid chariot in the flank and hopefully drive it off. They've still got some good, so even though they don't get the pony, they still get the guys up top. So they're going to do a fair amount of damage to this decimated unit of Yetis. I make that one. And close combat. I do a wound, he kills a Yeti. But he breaks and runs. So I just got this 1 Yeti, and that stupid chariot just keeps not dying. Over here, I managed to kill that chariot. Demora just wipes it out. I guess he did a wound or 2 to that unit, but it was happening. And the big combat. Nope, I guess it's the Fraggle combat. Yes, the Fraggle combat. I don't do a ton of damage. I don't win by a ton. He does a couple of wounds back to me. And he stays. So he can't turn. He's stuck where he is. We're just going to do this again next turn, where I'll probably kill another guy. He'll kill some more Fraggles. And it'll come down to the break test. So we'll see what he does next turn. Over here, I decimated this unit. Big Fat for the win. Big Fat did a lot of damage. I rolled high on his impact hits. I rolled high for his Thunder Stomp, or Stompity Stomp, and yeah, he just squished this unit. He went with a spiky shield in defense. It just didn't help. I think he did only like a couple of wounds back, but I mean he just wasn't rolling very well when he did for his saves. So the spiky shields did not help very much. I don't think he did anything to the tribes on the right, and I think he just blocked a couple of Big Fat's attacks, and Big Fat's just too fat to care. He breaks and gets run down. Turn 4, fish tacos. Okay, over here, he's finally decided to charge the Kin Eater rather than just hang around and stare at it like last turn. He decided to charge it this turn. There's the chariot. Yo, it rallies because that's what it does. And over here, the horseman, the guts of his army are gone at this point. If he'd been more aggressive with that block of warriors, I'd be missing a whole bunch of units in the center. But because he wasn't, he's really just got some outlier units. I mean, he's got those 2 units of knights, but they're just not in good positions right now. And here's another magic phase. Nothing happened there. Anyway, so like I said, I kill a guy, and it doesn't look like he killed any Fraggles this time. And he breaks from combat, but I don't catch him. He's just at the edge of the table. Over here, he kills the Kin Eater, just right out. And then turns around. Ugh, that center of the table is not looking good. Over here, I'm just going to charge because I'm going to drive these knights off the table. And they're gone. Bye, knights. Over here, yep. Yeah, charge both the Yeti and the tribes over there. I'm just going to drive this thing around the table. I keep breaking it from combat. It keeps not dying, so we're going to do this again. Yep, I'm just moving to support. I moved Demora out of the unit because I was really afraid of that unit of knights. I mean, they hit really hard, and I know the tribes aren't going to do anything. I know Demora is kind of hit or miss. I mean, she can kill off a couple of knights probably, but they're going to rip that unit of tribes apart, and I didn't want her to give up any points as a result, you know? So over here, he kills off that Yeti. So, once again, do another wound. He breaks from combat, and I don't catch him. I'm running through his dead pile at this point, if you haven't noticed. We don't have another table around us to put all of our dead on, so we have piles. And these are the chickens in Key West, where Sticky Fingers is throwing French fries at them, and they are plucking at my feet as I'm trying to eat my fish taco. That was his revenge for this game. Over here, he charges the knights into that unit of tribes. Like I said, I threw them up there as sacrificial, so they're just gonna die. Chariot finally doesn't rally, which is great because it means when it gets to my turn, I can get rid of them once and for all. Over here, yeah, this is just you can see the unit of mounted barbarians just moving around, doing stuff. There's another magic phase. Let's see if he gets anything off. Yep, he does that three hits thing, and he kills off another man-eater. Mercenary. I'm going to keep saying that. Anyway, over here, he doesn't do as much damage as I expected. He fluffs his rolls. It's not that I saved anything, he just fluffed. But he does enough. Breaks the unit. Does not catch them, though. And they get away. It doesn't panic anybody, so that's great. It does keep the mercenaries from countercharging, though, because thanks, guys. We need those mercenaries to just walk around the table and do nothing. I paid a pretty penny for them to do nothing all game long. So Big Fat and Demora are going to charge into this thing. And, yeah, they're going to wreck it. They both get in, no problem. Over here, the Kin Eater is going to charge at the mounted barbarians. It's kind of a long charge. but he flees just to get away. So, no biggie. And I'm going to drive this stupid chariot off the table. And away it goes. I'm glad to finally get rid of that thing. That thing moved all over this table. Here is a picture of, I don't think so, anything. And just, I guess, what the table looks like. Me moving the dog around and stuff. Yeah, and I killed all the knights. It looks like Demora took another wound. I don't remember where she picked up the other one, probably from a magic spell or something that I missed earlier. But, yeah, I just killed off all the knights right there. And we just reformed to face the mounted barbarians. Yes, and this is the... See, you came for a battle report, but instead you get pictures of my vacation. Sorry, I tricked you. This is from the butterfly exhibit at Key West. They had flamingos, they had little quail and stuff. It was really, really nice. So there's the mounted barbarians. They just moved up a little bit. He's just doing that for magic. He's not going to get anything off, though. I think he miscast, but he miscast nothing. Nothing happened, so. But, yeah. And there's me doing nothing because I don't need to. And that's it. It was a victory for me. Like I said, turn 3 was the big decider. I think if he'd been more aggressive with that unit of warriors, just more aggressive in killing out chaff. I know he didn't like to because it wasn't putting his units in the best positions, but you got to clear that stuff out because it's just going to be there the next round anyway. So if he charged that Gorger and then overrun into Demora's unit, you know, it makes me roll dice. I got to take panic checks when units get destroyed, and because he didn't do that, it just didn't work out. But I was really afraid on that turn 3. It could have gone very, very differently, but it just worked out for me. So I hope you all had a good time looking at all of my my cruise photos. I've got another cruise age game for you next week, so I'm gonna start putting that one together, and I hope you all had fun. Later.